Okay, guys. Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here from Kiev, Ukraine. I'm here on a special program because this, for people who are not Nigerians who are watching me, I'm a Nigerian, and most of you know that. But for people, nationals from other countries, our usual program today, I had to convert it to a Nigerian program, and because it's a matter of national importance to me. You know, of course, like I said, that I'm originally from Nigeria, and there is a political situation in Nigeria right now that demands for me to be able to do what I'm about to do today. So for those of you who are not political, who are saying, maybe you are not Nigerian or you are not political, I just want to beg you to remain for this program because it's going to be very engaging, it's going to be very interesting. Not just that it's going to be about Nigeria, and so you who are non-Nigerians, some of you complain about Nigeria, and this is finding a way to be able to resolve our problems. That's why I have to do this program. But for those of you who are not political, this is also important because Nigeria affects the whole world right now. Whatever happens in Nigeria is affecting the whole world. So what I'm doing is that I'm bringing one of our leading presidential aspirants, and to come and talk to us. And I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will come on board today. We have people from 109 countries coming on. But I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be here today to talk to this man. I mean, he has so many people rooting for him, so many people who are on our platform who have been asking me, please bring in Mr. Sowore, please bring him in. And so I welcome the audience on YouTube, and I'm also welcoming the audience on Facebook. So both audiences, YouTube, Facebook, welcome. And I'm going to introduce you right now to Mr. Sowore. Okay, all right. Hello, Mr. Sowore. Zvuk.
Nice to be on your show. How are you, sir?
Very good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Today's June 12th, a very important day in the life of Nigeria. Some 25 years ago, the Nigerian military did cancel this election of Bashar MP Abdullah. It was a free and fair election. And ever since then, we've had a commemoration of that particular day today. It's very important because finally the military and the backers and former military leaders came to a final realization that they can't do without respecting the mandate of Asharam Abdullah late now. And they finally gave him a national award, invited his family to Abuja today, and we went to his house just to defy their own agenda because as part of our campaign, on June 12th, in Abuja, in his hometown, we announced that we would make June 12th Democracy Day. And suddenly the government stole the idea. Give Bashar Abdullah the honor that everybody's talking about today. And they now finally said June 12th is going to become Nigeria's Democracy Day, something we've been saying since, I think, 1994.
So today now, June 12th, has become Nigerians' Democracy Day.
That's not only what happened. The national award of the highest order only reserved for presidents or former president of Nigeria was also conferred on Abiola posthumously.
That is unbelievable. That is absolutely unbelievable. That's victory to you, the democracy team.
Yes. It's victory to the pro-democracy movement, but most importantly, it's victory to TakeItBack our movement that made a declaration a few days ago saying that that's what exactly what we do when we come into office next year. So a lot of people now understand who knows what he or she is doing.
Yeah, because you've been part of that pro-democracy movement since you were a young man, isn't it?
Yeah, I was with Shimempe Abdullah after he won the election. He was abandoned by his colleagues within the political circle. There's a video of me standing right behind him.
Okay, is there any way to make your volume Better? Some people.
Maybe I can get closer to the video.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
That might be a bit too close.
Okay. So let's do this.
Like that, yeah. Now it's good. Now it's good.
Can you hear me better now?
Is the volume better now? Yes. The volume is good now.
Probably I have to also increase the volume of my voice.
Yes, please. Yes. So, yes, you've been a part of this democracy movement back in those days. Tell us about that.
So, we have been clamoring for return.
Excuse me, can you move a bit to your is it to the left? To your left? No, the other, is it the other side? Is that to your right? Yeah.
I have my camera people just probably moving the
Okay. Good. Excellent.
All right. I hope this is better now.
Better. Very good. Yeah.
So, about 1990, since 1990, as young students in the university, we've been battling with the Nigerian military led by Ibrahim Babangida General to return Nigeria to democratic rule and to allow multi-party elections to take place. As a matter of fact, in around 1990, I think there was an attempt to have a sovereign national conference. We were tired of military rule. We wanted to fashion out a constitution for ourselves and steadily return Nigeria to democratic rule. So, having felt the pressure, Babangida then started organizing a series of elections. Formed two political parties. One he said was to the left, the other was to the right. The long and short of it was that the parties chose Abiola and another guy known as Tofa to run in the election. To be honest with you, as student leaders and as radical young people, we didn't believe in the transfer program. And we didn't participate in it. In fact, we discouraged people from participating in it, saying that Babangida could not be trusted. But lo and behold, he shot himself in the foot, allowed the elections to hold, even though he tried to arrest the election through some manipulation of the judiciary. So, on June 12th, Nigeria had a peaceful, free and fair election, and Abiola won. But before he could be finally declared as the winner of the election, they obtained another court judgment saying that elections weren't fair and fair. It was Babangida playing another game on the Nigerian populace. And the elections were annulled on June 23rd. I think we thought it was a joke, and then when we realized it wasn't a joke, we thought we could reverse it by putting pressure on Babangida. And that was the beginning of our woes in Nigeria. That particular period led us to organize a series of protests, strikes, labor movement all across the country, student movement all across the country. A lot of groups, young people, fought and protested against that norm. So that's how it started. So
I think, sir, I'm going to ask you, maybe your team, to help bring your mic closer to maybe closer up. I think that's where the issue is, because a lot of people here are saying they need to hear their president. They are calling you president. So, so the voice is not loud enough. Is there any way to move it up a bit, that mic?
Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we can do a mic connection. So the voice is not loud enough. We are trying to change the microphone now. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Hello, guys. They are trying to change the microphone over there in Nigeria, and they are working on it. So please don't be offended, all the people who are here.
Can you hear that? They are trying to change the microphone over there in Nigeria, and they are working on it. So please don't be offended, all the people who are here. Can you hear me loud and clear now, Pastor?
I hear you here in our own studio very well, but in people from Facebook and YouTube are complaining they don't hear you well. I wonder why not. Yeah, that might help. Good. I think we are fine now. Yeah, this quality is good. I think it should be better now with with the mic closer to you like that. Yes. But we need you to remove the volume from there so that nothing plays, so that we don't have the echo coming from your side.
So go ahead. We're good. We're good. Can you go ahead and ask the next question?
Yes.
Delay with this new adjustment.
Okay. So the next question is this. What is your dream of Nigeria in the next 10 years? What is the dream of the new Nigeria identity that you have? I'm hearing my voice. I think there is something playing there. They need to do something about reducing the.
First and foremost, we need a Nigeria that's secure where the bloodletting and. I think there is something playing there. They need to do something. All right. Can you hold on one second?
Okay.
I think we should remove this again and so on. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Well, what I was thinking is that maybe we should actually remove the microphone and try to do it directly without microphone altogether. Yeah. Just use Messenger. Yeah. I think it should be better. Now, can you try to speak, sir?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very well.
All right. So we'll do this now and go about this one more time.
Yes.
Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Very, very. I'm hearing you loud and clear, but the most important thing, there is no echo now.
All right. Very good. So
Are you people hearing? Are the Facebook people hearing him?
loud and clear too, and I think it should be fine.
Okay. Just make sure you speak up, sir.
I will try to speak up as loud as possible.
Okay. Yes, your dream of Nigeria in the next 10 years.
So for the next 10 years, Nigeria needs to have some very important basic things for Nigeria to function. And one of it is electricity. There's no discussion about the future of Nigeria without lighting up Nigeria, providing the kind of energy Nigeria needs to support its people, to support small businesses, big industries, to support just general well-being. I'm sorry. And I think electricity is number one. But before electricity, Nigeria is going through an era of bloodletting.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Sowore. The sound is having a challenge. I'm going to do something. I'm going to take a minute and keep on keeping the audience together while we call you back. I think we need to call you back because the sound is not coming through right now at all. Maybe we will still need the microphone, but because the microphone was the microphone was without the microphone is good. Without the microphone, but you couldn't hear anything now. So what do? We need to call him back without microphone. Okay, we'll call you back just now. Through Messenger, through Facebook Messenger only, sir. Hello, audience, everybody that is watching us. We are going to get back the president. Like that's what all his followers and fans are calling him here. We're going to get president back in the next 1 minute. In the next 1 minute. So we just need to call him back right now. We need to get the voice normalized because the things we are going to be talking about are so important that we need to fix this voice. We need to fix the voice. Yes, we need to fix the volume. And because he's going to, I have some very, very powerful questions here, and I'm sure he's ready for them. And I'm sure all of you are looking forward to these answers. So we are going to try to call him back and see how the sound will work. But we really need his voice to come through. This is the first time we're having this challenge. I mean, not the first time, but with Nigeria, we have challenges like this all the time. But they really did well because they got good lightning, they got good place. It's normally better than the most people we speak to in Nigeria. But why the voice is not going through is a challenge. We don't know why the voice is not going through. But we are going to get him now. I have, let me tell you how many questions I have here for Mr. Sowore. Just from me alone, from myself, I have 23 questions. Then from all of you, another 20 questions from all of you guys. So, so we have to go very fast. We need to go very fast and get all the questions answered today. Somebody is not interested in getting this thing through. Satan doesn't want this thing to go through for sure. But, we believe that we are more than conquerors. People should hear the answers from Mr. Sowore this time, by the grace of God. So we are going to try to do something about this volume and fix the voice, because he had said a few things. For those of you who didn't hear what he was saying before, what he was saying previously was that today was declared, the 12th of June was declared Independent Democracy Day in Nigeria, and that he was part of the movement with MKO Abiola, the president, the guy that won the presidency that time, that was not allowed to resume his presidential office. And he said what they did today was that from the morning, they went to see the government was hosting the family of Abiola. But what they did is that they didn't go to Abuja to the ceremony over there, but they went to the house of MKO himself just to defile to kind of defile the federal government, because he said that the whole idea of declaring June 12th the Democracy Day was actually initiated by himself, that he initiated it, that government just hijacked it 3 days later. So I'm sure we should be okay now. So let's see if I can cheat now. Or zvuk. Hello?
Yes, can you hear me loud and clear?
Oh, wow. What happened? A miracle.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. This is good.
Okay.
All right. The question I was asking is your vision for Nigeria for the next 10 years.
So, next 10 years, we have to move Nigeria to in of Africa. And for Nigeria, an industrial leader to become a nation that is respected and respectable, we have to do a certain number of things. A number of things. And one of them is to have Nigeria become a secure nation where life and properties are safe, where people don't just get killed at the slightest provocation by all kinds of characters. Militants, insurgents, kidnappers, petty criminals, and even the security forces who have no respect for life in the country. But one big issue Nigeria needs to confront in the next few months, has to do with electricity. Without electricity, Nigeria is not going anywhere. And I can guarantee you that Nigeria is even not going to be safe if we cannot get it right with electricity. The third thing is infrastructure. Nigeria needs to fashion out how to buy infrastructure. And this infrastructure will also come back to electricity, by the way. For example, we're generating over 7,000 megawatts of electricity, what they call 7 gigawatts.
Yes.
We can only transmit 3,000. That is not enough, perhaps, to run the subway in Ukraine where you are.
Yes.
And apparently it's not enough to do anything. So we have to get this infrastructure in place. We need to get roads in place. We need to get our train railway system a ship. We need to get power transmission lines. We need to get hospitals built, or at least the ones in existence now being properly maintained. We need to build schools where there are no schools, because a lot of schools are dilapidated. And so Nigeria needs to have, most importantly, leaders who understand what the next 10 years look like. One of the things I hate most about Nigerian leaders is that they are always propagating and proposing for the future where they won't be around. They will tell you that they have a vision 2020. First, the man who said he has a vision 2020 for Nigeria is wearing glasses. He can't even see, And then secondly, they're not going to be around between now and the year 2020. I want to see leaders who can do something within the framework of their tenure and not propose to do something way beyond when they will not even be alive. Most of them are on the departure lounge of life. Why are you proposing 2020 when you know you'll be around beyond 2018? Let's have you tell us what you can do within the framework of your tenure. But we're still talking about 20 years, right? 20 years, I want Nigeria not only become the informational or the technological hub for Africa, it also should become the transportation hub for Africa. And when I say this, I just recently went to Turkey, sir, and I'm surprised how Turkey is able to become the place you go to go anywhere else just by way of their airline, the Turkish airline. If you want to go to anywhere in Europe, the easiest way to go, the cheapest way to go is through Turkey. And you look at all their computers in the airport, they go everywhere. I don't need to think it's leadership that matters. But for you to get there, you need infrastructure. You can't have a country where a plane is landing at the same time the electricity is stripping off. And you want people to make it a transportation hub or a place where you can't even get electricity to charge your phone. It's not going to become a tech hub, right? You cannot have a place where you cannot go to sleep or your kids can't have their homework done because there's no electricity, and you expect the place to be powered to compete with people in the future. Especially during this era of artificial intelligence, where people have actually moved away from the technology that we know now, which is internet-based, to the artificial intelligence era, where your next assistant, your next, even your next girlfriend or boyfriend might be a robot. I'm telling you, we're not prepared. And without the kind of visionary leadership that makes other nations become great, we are not making it anywhere. That's why I'm not very crazy about proposing 10 years. Pastor, we need what Nigeria should look like in the next 4 years. And that's where I'm going to start from. And I have said it has to do with security, it has to do with power, infrastructure. We have to have an economy that works for our people. We have to have health, education, agriculture, because we are only growing 70% of our arable land, Pastor. You know how it is. Probably you grew up in one of those villages where you had to go to farm first before you go to school.
Yes.
You know how we did that we could feed ourselves. That no longer happens because we have a lazy economy where everybody is just running after oil allocation from Abuja. Nobody is growing anything, nobody is innovating anymore. Everybody is just walking around with hats on their head and big bubbles and big Mercedes Benz. We're not producing nothing, we're not manufacturing anything.
So you are saying that in the next 4 years, you want us to be able to fix these things?
I promise in the next 4 years, we should have electricity 24/7. I know how to do it. In the next 4 years, we should be able to have all the road networks we need in existing places and building new ones. I would at least in a month fix Lagos Ibadan Expressway, sir. Whatever is left of it, I'll fix it. That's not rocket science. I'll do Kano Kaduna Way, which I've been to in recent times campaigning, within 2 to 3 months. I would finish the East-West Highway, which links Warri to Port Harcourt, within at least 6 months. Because these things are doable. But when you have leaders who don't even understand where they are, everybody is just out there trying to outdo each other with contracts. We have a country that have contractors with no builders. I'm going to bring in builders and get rid of the contractors.
All right. What about, okay, let me go to the next question. You mentioned leadership. What does it mean to you to become the president of Nigeria? What does it mean to you to become the president? What is presidency to you?
The president of Nigeria, chief servant of Nigeria, is the guy who is willing and ready and able hands, to hire the best hands, to work all the time to make Nigeria a fantastic country, is a person who understands what Nigeria needs in terms of education, somebody who can read data, somebody who can analyze them, somebody who can synthesize data, somebody who can appeal to everybody, somebody who is open-minded, somebody who is not a bigot, someone who is not a nepotist, who doesn't think that for things to get done, his cousin must be the next Minister of Finance or Foreign Affairs or the Chief of Staff, somebody who is willing to overlook all of those things that divide the people of Nigeria and has made Nigeria broken and broke today. Somebody who is willing to embrace, somebody who is humble enough to understand that for a country to work, you just have to work with a lot of people, a lot of interest groups. I have said it, Pastor, Nigeria is not complex. If it were to be complex, it would be so easy to steal the place blind. With complex crimes, you know, it's not complex. And Nigeria is not big. I've traveled almost around Nigeria in the last 3 months since I declared to run for office. It's unbelievable how quickly and how easily you can get around in Nigeria, even with the bad roads. Because it's not a big place.
Yeah, compare Nigeria to the US or to Russia, it's like very small.
Nigeria is just twice the size of California, and there are 50 states in the US. And I've lived in the US for 19 years. So don't let anybody deceive you about the complexity of Nigeria. You know, I met one of the former governors in Abuja. We had a small altercation, and he started saying, "Oh, you know, you need to be a former governor. I'm a commissioner." And I said, "No, I don't have to be. You know, what you call experience is your ability to steal and get away with crimes. That's what you call experience. That's not experience. In other places, experience is vision, right? You know, driven by a belief and conviction of the past that shows that you can get things done. And you've seen the countries that have been driven by the best leaders. They're not necessarily the leaders who have been former president. If experience could help Nigeria, we should be doing so well. Because we had 2 former presidents come back several years later and govern Nigeria. And they just succeeded in running the place to the ground.
All right, you said that Nigeria is not a complex question. Let me now tell you where the complexity is. Most Nigerians will not believe in what I'm about to say now, but that is the truth. Many people believe that Nigeria is a rich country, that we are wealthy. How can we be so wealthy and we are living so poor? But really, if you compare Nigeria, what we produce, and the revenue we generate in a year, you would see that Nigeria is a very poor country. Nigeria is not a rich country. We are potentially rich in raw materials and things like that, but we are not a rich country. Right now, we are a very poor country. What do you say about that?
I disagree with you.
Okay.
The reason we are poor is application of our resources.
Okay.
Right? So, what do Nigerians need? Nigerians need roads. You allocate resources to roads every year. And someone is given a contract, he gets 70% of the what they call mobilization fee, he disappears. In most cases, they will even go and destroy the roads by taking caterpillars there, what we call equipment for road construction here, and remove it, and then go back to the government and say, hey, you know, we've run out of money. Because why? When they award contracts to some companies, the companies have to build them a house first, a huge mansion.
Okay.
Ukraine. I'm not saying that there are no corrupt people in Ukraine, but I've not heard in so many countries where 3 people can walk away with $3 billion.
It's impossible, yeah.
Hospital, you know, or you have a former first lady who has 15 accounts with average of $5 million in each of them.
Wow.
And she's rolling around in wealth. She has a hotel everywhere. She's never worked before. She even openly admits that she's a permanent secretary in a state where the salary is less than 300,000 naira per month. But this one has a lot of wealth. You talk about a country where you say, well, you're not rich, but people are not making sacrifices because you have senators who are taking home the salary. There's a tool we just set up on my Facebook page. You can calculate how much you make now and compare with what you'll be making compared to Nigerian senator.
Yes.
If you're earning 300,000 naira a month, it will take you almost 8 years to make the same amount of money a senator makes in a month.
Wow.
Yes. So that's where the difference is.
Now, but what will you say, sir, about the fact that Nigeria doesn't have industry and our people are not producing? Our resources are very few. Even the ones that are stolen or the ones that are being lost to corruption, by the time you return those ones, it's still not enough. We need to build industries. We need to raise the productivity of our people, isn't it?
Well, you have to understand what is the meaning of industry these days, right? And we have to think about that holistically. For example, if you look at the stock exchanges of New York, probably London, and some other places, the companies that are doing well are not countries that are producing steel. Companies. Or they're not producing steel. They're not producing anything big. They're technological companies. They are health companies. And these things are things that we could have produced if we had the kind of leadership that can allow for the objective conditions for Nigeria to even partner with other places. I'll give you an example, sir. You go to Turkey, right? And I keep mentioning Turkey. There are power banks, they call Anchor, right? I heard about them. I heard that they come from Turkey. Don't quote me, I may be wrong, but the person who gave me one said they are produced in Turkey. And they may not be owned by Turkish nationals. They may not have the invention, but it's being produced in their country. Reason is that somebody will take companies to produce stuff that are invented somewhere in Turkey because it's cheaper to produce them there. They hire the people in Turkey to do the work. But in Nigeria, how do you even come near here to produce something invented somewhere when we don't have electricity, when you don't have roads, when there's no guarantee that you can even get from your house, which is 10 minutes from the airport, and make it down there safe? So these are the things that we don't have working for us. So what you then have left is people just giving excuses. We have leadership by excuse, where each time you challenge them to do something, they say, oh, we don't have enough money. Our budget is not even as big as that of the fire department in New York. And I challenge them, every year you have a budget of the fire department, buy enough fire engines, right? Next time you have a budget that is of the education department, build enough schools. Because if you have enough schools, you have enough fire engines, and have enough roads as the city of New York, we'll be doing so well in Nigeria today.
So, Mr. Sowore, you believe that our main problem is with leadership?
It is leadership. There's no question about it. Everybody that studied it said it is leadership. Those of us who are looking at it, even traditionally and conventional, knows it's leadership. And there are leadership in several ways. There are leadership that have no vision. There are leadership that are selfish and wicked. And there are leadership, there's also the leadership that don't care about anybody. And there's leadership that takes care of itself only. And so the leadership that is without vision, as you know, is what we have here. We've not had any leader that you can look at and say, wow, I want to write a book about this guy. I don't think Nigeria has had that, not during my lifetime. We've always had leaders that were like, we wish you can take to the International Criminal Court to face charges.
Okay, now you said Nigeria is because of if Nigeria is the leadership issue. So where will you find it? Because you just said it now that the politicians tell you that the money we have is even less than the fire department of New York City. So how will you use that to be able to fix electricity? And we know that to fix electricity in Nigeria, we need up to $50 billion.
That's correct. But these are the same politicians that tell you that you don't have budget for anything, who are buying jets, right? And we are probably the second largest owners of jets besides China ahead. Again, I don't have the accurate statistics, but we have a lot of jets, including among you guys who are pastors.
That is mainly from the pastors, I guess.
No, there are bankers. There's virtually
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, so can you hear me now?
Yes, it's good now.
So it's not only peculiar to pastors. So you are wondering, how is it that all these guys are doing so well, but the country is the only one that is not doing well? That's the question. What I'm telling you, Pastor, is that what happens to our budget? We budget for roads every year.
Yes.
We budget for hospitals every year. We budget for schools every year.
Yes.
We budget for all kinds of things. But at the end of the budgeting, of the cycle, the budget cycle, monies have disappeared. In some cases, over 80% of what is allocated for the use of the public is stolen.
No, will you agree that it is better now under Buhari, though, than previous government?
Buhari's problem is also leadership. The reason why Buhari people weren't stealing at the beginning was that the PDP people that came before them had stolen so much, there was not much left to steal. Now that they have to steal, they have enough to steal, they are doing the same thing.
Yes, I've reported on these things. I know how to do it. I've taken them on regarding this issue. They are stealing as much.
We have a challenge with your voice.
I don't know. Can you hear me clearly?
No, a big echo coming from your side.
Can you hear me now?
It's still bad.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We were doing well a few minutes ago.
Hello?
No, it's still resounding. Ubirite nash microphone katolita.
Hello?
No, it's still resounding.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Nope. It's making a lot of noise for some reasons.
Hello?
Yep. It's better. It's slightly better now.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Good now.
Okay. So the excuse you get from these guys that, we can't do this, we can't do that. It's just excuses and excuses. And I wanted to refer to the Buhari regime that you mentioned.
Yes.
They haven't been able to point concretely to anything they've done to stop corruption. What they have been doing is a lot of publicity around, corruption trials. And but you cannot, for example, they haven't been able to publicly tell us who they recovered money from, which was their promise, and how they recovered the money, and who did the recovery. Because what we learned is that there are members of the regime who actually go out there to make deals with corrupt people.
All right, Mr. Sowore, apart from corruption, let me tell you the picture of Nigeria economy right now. The Nigeria economy right now is worth, the budget this year is going to be 8 trillion naira, 8.6 trillion. Now, out of that 8 trillion, the recurrent expenditures, the things that they are paying the salary for the states, what they are giving to the states, salary, everything, out of 8 is almost 4. So half of our whole budget goes to pay salary for civil servants. And then the capital expenditure, the capital things that the road and all those things you are talking about is 2.5. And then they are still using 2. That means we have 4, 2. So that is 6 out of 8. Then 2, they are using 2 to service debt, to pay their debt. So why will our money is already spent. How will you redirect that money that is already spent to where will you take money to do all the things that you plan to do?
Okay, here is how I break it down, Pastor Adelaja. So you have a budget that says 8 trillion naira.
Yes.
Is what we're spending. But then you peg the price of crude, which is a major export,
yes,
at $1 per barrel.
Yes.
And 2 months into the year, you're selling it at $70 per barrel. Now at 72, meaning that for every barrel you're making $20 extra. And this is not in the budget. That means you have $20 to play around with over and above your budget. And this is there for you to use in improving the lives of your people. But what did our people do? They came to us and said, hey, we have SS crude, that's what they call it.
Yes, SS crude account.
Yes. And they allocated it to Boko Haram,
fighting Boko Haram again. Most of that went to America to deliver some super carriers that are not coming our way in 2020. And the rest, nobody knows what they're going to do with it. This is how I explain this to you. Well, here is another truth about what we are making. So our budget is 8 trillion. This year alone, we made almost 3 trillion, or 4 trillion, according to them officially, from the Inland Revenue Service. They made almost 1 trillion to 2 trillion from customs. That's 6 trillion right there.
Yes.
And then they made about 1 trillion from the Nigeria Port Authority.
Yes.
EFCC said they recovered 500 billion this year alone, and they told us that we're going to invest all this in the budget. So between about 4 agencies, including JAM, by the way, they said JAM is doing so well this year. We always pay for our budget without touching our oil revenue. So where's the rest? So when you ask them about it, they'll say, "Oh, our foreign reserve is improving." Foreign reserve don't mean nothing in the life of the people at home not doing so great. I'm just breaking this down, not to you. I know you're asking me tricky questions. You know the answers yourself. I listened to you in the past. You know what is going on in Nigeria. But I am just telling you that even by their own admission, a lot could be done with the little they claim we have. But again, without a leadership that understands how to manage resources, how to think through making this happen, without making the kind of partnership that makes things work, bringing in investors that could make some of these things easy to do and build, you're wasting your time. If you still have people who believe that the best way to construct road is to give it to a Julius Berger, and a Julius Berger that will construct road for you first, a house for you first before they construct the road, we're not going to get anything done. If you are still doing an agriculture that is about propaganda, where you claim that Thailand is closing down rice mills, and you are not building your own rice mills, and rice mills are not the most difficult things to build, but you are not building. You only have one rice mill in the whole country. The rest is just packaging. You're lying to yourself.
All right, Mr. Sowore, another question, because you said the biggest problem with Nigeria is leadership. What about the human resources, the human capital? Do you agree that Nigerians right now, most Nigerians who are in Nigeria, we don't have the human capital? 50% are illiterate. And then the rest of the 50% that are literate, maybe 20% only that are having university education, that are really having skills. Most of our even laborers are coming from Togo and, Benin Republic. So we don't have human capital resources. Where will you, how will you get that? Where will you get that from to build a great country in 4 years?
Pastor, the same human resource that we are complaining about are the same guys who go to the Caribbean to become some of the best doctors you can imagine. They go to Saudi Arabia, great doctors, great nurses. They step to the US, they become great doctors, great nurses. We have Nigerians who are working at NASA in the US, and they left from here. They're lawyers, they are great sports people, they are great movie makers, they are great musicians,
But how many are left in Nigeria?
That's the point. The thing is, if you don't have the objective conditions to keep your best at home, where would you, the people who are left are people who can't get out. But let's even assume that we develop the ones that are in. As Bill Gates came to Nigeria and said, don't keep wasting your time on what you think is working. Invest in the youth, invest in your people. Because these same Nigerians that we seem to have written off are the ones that are doing great codes. They are the ones that are developing online markets that are competing around the world. They are the ones that are techies, They are doing a lot of great things with little. But all they ask for is that we cannot continue to develop this country when all the time you have to spend more money on diesel than you make profit every year in a little market, right? You have to buy a generator, you have to buy you have to put a security guard in front of your house, you have to dig a borehole. All those things that the government can help with, government is not helping with it. And without those things, you cannot develop your human capital as you should in such a way that they can help you propel your economy to become great. That is where leadership is important. Because in other countries that have similar problems, they tackle their problems differently. South Africa has got a solution now in Joburg for public transit because they built a train station that is even better than that of New York during the World Cup, right? We can't do that. Lagos has been trying to build trains, intracity train stations for almost 8 years since I knew about them. They can't even find a coach to put on top of the rail lines. So leadership again is the issue. We're talking about selfish leaders. We're talking about corrupt leaders. Whenever they have little money to develop their country, they take it and buy houses in Dubai. They take it and go do a vacation with it. They buy the best cars in the world, to the extent that when the cars needs to be serviced, they put them back on the plane and send them back to the mechanic. The workshops where they bought them from, Europe and America. When you have leaders like that who are just consumers, who don't produce, who don't think, you are wasting your time, and that's why we can't stop talking about leadership in the country.
Okay, talking about leadership, where will you take your leaders from, your ministers, the governors that will be the Nigeria? Is it not the same people? When you be elected, the same old parliament will be there, the same old governors will be there, the people will still be coming, the same corrupt people will be running the country. Where will you get the people, the revolutionaries, to change the country?
You are acting as if, or we are acting as if, this is not the country that produced Wole Soyinka. This is not the country that produced Chinua Achebe, who wrote the best novel in the world. We're acting as if we don't know that this is the country that produced that doctor in the US who performs miracles, take out babies, fix them and put them back in the womb. We're acting as if this is not the country that produced all of the great guys that are known as Nigerians, who are great sports people, movie makers, who are great novel writers. Remember that, Adichie is a Nigerian, don't forget. And this country produced them at one point or the other, or they produce themselves. So if this country has produced great people before, what was it that we did right when Wole Soyinka popped out of Nigeria, and Achebe popped out of Nigeria? How is it that we're not doing that? It's because now, even the little we had, we are destroying. We have universities that we don't invest in them anymore because the people who should be the people running the country are building for themselves universities. I'll give you two examples. When Obasanjo was in power, him and Atiku, both as president and vice, they were more interested in building their own universities, whereas they allowed the university to go on strike for almost 6 months or more. So when you have such leaders, how are you going to get it right? That is the thing. But they have universities today that are flourishing. Atiku will tell you that he's an entrepreneur because he built an American, British, what they call ABTI. He built a university in Adamawa. Obasanjo also built Bells University. But these two guys sat around, folded their arms, while Nigerian universities, public universities, went on strike for at least 6 months at a time.
Okay, I'm going to rephrase that question. The question is that for you to run a country, there is the need for the participation of the citizens themselves. So for you to say, for example, I need 36 governors, let's say 30 ministers. Those 30 ministers must represent some certain states or some constituencies, and it's the constituencies that must produce or propose to you that, okay, from two must come from every state. They must propose to you, or they must come from a certain political party. For you to be able to reach consensus, you need to be able to count with the people. And then let's talk about the governors. The governors, the people have to vote for them. So it's not just who you select or I select. The people have to select them. But the same people are selecting the corrupt people. That is the issue. As our people are voting for corrupt governors.
As president of Nigeria, you have the power to select your own team. Even if a governor proposes to you a corrupt governor or a corrupt minister, you can reject the minister and look for someone who is not corrupt, and you'll still be fine. Nobody's going to impeach the president for not accepting a minister allocated to him or appointed by a governor. The governors, we all know, are corrupt people. Part of the biggest problem Nigeria is facing today are those governors. These guys are taking home over 2 billion naira per month, some of them for security votes. You don't even know what that means. So, but the president of Nigeria is not under any obligation, either constitutional or moral, to accept a criminal nominated by a governor. He can always say, hey, you know, thanks and no thanks. I'm not that's not the person I want. Buhari did it. He bypassed a lot of governors. The governors were not happy with him. But the reason why Nigerians thought that Buhari knew what he was doing was because they thought after having spent 6 months looking for ministers, he must have found some of the most palliative ministers. Turned out that these guys were dregs.
Wow, okay. What about this issue of police brutality and police and corruption in the police?
Police brutality and corruption has always been with us, again, because, you know, we are living with a constabulary police. The Nigerian police was the same the colonial masters gave us. We need to remove the force from their from their nomenclature so that they will understand that they are for the people. But the reason why the police is brutal is because the average politician or the average military ruler who is in charge of the country is using the police the same way the colonial masters used them. That is to settle scores. And when the police are not being used to settle scores, they are guarding and protecting the children, the wives and concubines and mistresses of politicians or military officers. So you have about 50% of policemen right now carrying bags for people, whereas they shouldn't be doing that. And what you're left with are policemen that are just out there doing whatever they can to make ends meet. And at the end of the day, where leadership is important is that they still have to take back money to their superiors. So if you're a DPO, you ask each police officer who is going on a roadblock to bring you a certain amount of money. You cannot then turn around and control them. Leadership is key, except we put in place the right kind of leadership for the police or all security agencies. You're not going to have a change of attitude. The attitude is like this because the country is rotting from the top. And I believe that it's equipping the police proper remuneration, because the thing is that we are not incentivizing our policemen enough for them to even risk their lives. I have proposed that for every policeman that loses his life or a soldier that loses his life in this country in the course of duty, they will get 10 million naira as insurance, you know. But right now, if a policeman is killed, the moment he's dead, his wife is kicked out of the barrack almost as soon as he's dead. There's no empathy within the force. They don't care about them. Nobody's paying them anything. Even when they're supposed to be entitled to something, it takes them years to get it. Their superiors or the paymasters who work in the pay office are looking to steal whatever is meant for it. Look at our police. There are 80,000 fake police officers. They just detected them about a month ago. And nobody has said anything after that. You know, because why? Even the process of hiring police officers are so crooked that armed robbers are being recruited constantly into the police force. You have to clean all these processes before you can have a police force that works for the Nigerian people. But they need reorientation, they need proper remuneration, they need insurance, and they need equipment and proper training.
I've listened to you a few times, so the recordings and interviews. I've seen that you have criticized Buhari for the way he's handling the Boko Haram situation and that he has failed in the Boko Haram fight. That is one of the places where people give him credit for. Now, are you not afraid, not like fearing, but are you not afraid that criticizing Buhari now with his result over Boko Haram, that you are going to face the same challenges because the same army that couldn't deal with it are the same people you'll be working with when you come? How do you resolve the problem of the army as well and Boko Haram?
Don't forget that the platform that I worked with before now, SAHARA Reporters, was instrumental to exposing all the military generals that were taking money meant for buying equipment and reporting constantly, to the point that the government before Buhari's government used to say that we work for Boko Haram. Because we had so much corruption at the highest level of the military hierarchy that they didn't like us. And they called us names. When eventually that regime was kicked out, they found monies. That's why I said Nigeria has a lot of money. They found money in sewage, they found them under the pillow, on-site cooking pot, in homes of military generals. Some of them were found in water tanks, hosted above their homes. And these were things they were doing. But when we were reporting at that time, everybody said we lied. They blackmailed us, they harassed us, they even threatened me on so many occasions. But as soon as the Buhari regime came to office, they found out that these guys were stealing monies that were meant for buying equipment for soldiers. So it's the same case now. The soldiers that are willing to fight are there ready to fight. We used to have a lot of them report on lack of equipment, water, and general welfare to us. They told me repeatedly that Boko Haram would be and could be defeated if only there is general will at the highest levels of the military. Well, here is what happened under Buhari. When he came into office, we reported that his chief of army staff bought homes in Dubai. They did nothing about it. So you keep the same guy, probably now he's bought the half of Dubai. Who knows? And where do these monies come from? From money that are supposed to be meant for buying equipment. When Buhari came to office, people said, do not incentivize Boko Haram by paying them ransom. We were paying ransom to Boko Haram at the last count. Boko Haram had been paid £5 million. You also heard from BBC, not SAHARA reporters now, that at the time that Shekau was supposed to be killed, he had already been rounded up and he was pinned to a corner by Nigerian military. He got a call from Abuja not to act anymore. Shekau was able to get away. So when you look at all these scenarios and all these variables, you understand why I said Buhari can't fight Boko Haram as much as someone who has a vision and the determination and the will to really have the military do the right job. Okay, you say Buhari has done so well, but Boko Haram was in another school in Dapchi the other day, picked up 110 girls. Within 3 days, they smiled into town, rolled into town in their Hilux vans, and dropped the girl, even addressed the rally, after supposedly or reported they were paid ransom. So when you have all of this combined together, you can understand why we said he's not doing well. There's still a bombing today in Maiduguri that killed 2 people. Suicide bombers are still roaming the place. Maybe people have just become so accustomed to Boko Haram doing what they like that nobody really care about them anymore as to think it's still a problem. But I know as someone who's been reporting insurgencies that it's still a major problem, and it cannot be resolved by President Buhari, who, by the way, promised he was going to be talking about them 3 months after coming to office. We are 3 years into his tenure now.
Now, everything you have said so far regarding the police and the army, everything is having one connection or the other to corruption. How do you plan to tackle the issue of corruption nationwide? If ministers are corrupt, police is corrupt, army is corrupt, citizens are corrupt.
You know, first thing is that we have to fix our procurement system. The problem, the reason why it is still in Nigeria is that we are still doing things in analog ways. So people still go around with checks. They still have bank managers who move cash into places for them. We do not have a system that is foolproof in terms of, you know, where's money moving around to. We still don't have a situation where financial intelligence is capable of detecting large movement of cash, and when they do, they are compromised such that they don't report it to the authorities that are necessary to know. Because there is no time that a lot of money is moved around without paper trail. I know this because that's how I get my certificates as SAHARA. Because there's always going to be a banker who signed off on something before it goes somewhere else. And, you know, all these accounts that money move into, they are very easy to trace. But our procurement system is still very, very, you see, has like huge loopholes. And that's what these ministers exploit. I don't see any reason why for the contracts, not in this era. You know, contracts are supposed to go through a different person, but if you look at it, part of it is also the lack of transparency. Most of these ministers go create the companies first, and then they award the contracts to companies that are owned by their children who are below the age of 12. In some cases, some of them are 6-year-olds. If I'm president, and when I'm president, I'm going to ensure that every registered company in Nigeria is accessible online. The CAC website is a place where you can go and download the owners of companies. If they change the ownership, you'll be able to find it, so that you can tell when the contract is awarded to somebody who's fictitious, that you can easily just cry out. Or if you know that the company belongs to the minister and is using fake names on, you know, host names, you can easily detect those things. But right now, you go to the ECAC in search of company information, they'll give you time. Before you come back, they would have done whatever is needed to hide the real owners of these companies. There's just a lot more we can do in addition to making sure that EFCC is proactive, or not EFCC, but law enforcement agencies, because it's not actually EFCC's job alone to fight corruption. The Nigeria police should be the biggest organization on ground to fight corruption, because that's part of their primary duty and responsibility. But they don't do that because of the corruption in the police force itself. But again, when you change leadership, when you change processes, corruption will be cut by half in our first year in office, and subsequently we'll be able to save an average of $5 billion every year. I don't. It's unfortunate that because who are ordinary people this year, and then the next year, 1 year after being minister, they built mansions like some of the most expensive cars. They're investing in stocks and all kinds of things. And these things they do in the open is brazen. And when we find out,
Mr. Sowore, very clear answer. What about, you mentioned a lot of Nigerians that are doing great stuff all over the world, the ones that have run away. How do you plan to return the Nigerians? Like, for example, you just mentioned the doctors, the medical, all these Nigerians that are doing great stuff abroad. We need them to build a better Nigeria. I'm sure you agree with that. How do you plan to attract the Nigerians in diaspora back home?
Let me preface this, Pastor, by telling you how much I've traveled recently within Europe and America, just doing town hall meetings. And I'm listening to all these Nigerians who are like great doctors, great accountants, lawyers. And sometimes there are people who haven't even gone through the academic system, but who have, by sheer hard work, become experts in doing things, building roads, Some of them, I met someone who's a tunnel engineer in the UK, and he's wondering why we don't have like the underground trace system. And everybody keeps telling me, listen, we want to come back home. We just need the objective conditions to be right for it. Some of them hate the cold weather. I'm sure you guys have a lot of that in Ukraine. People they want to come back home. But what we need to do is what India did. How was it that India was able to attract all the powerful guys in the Silicon Valley? How did they attract the doctors that made India the very well-loved destination for medical tourism today? They created it. They created the incentive to attract people to come home. Do you know what is interesting about Nigeria? A lot of the professionals who want to come home don't even want to get paid. They just want to make sure that when they get home, they can go to wherever they want to work to help the country. But they don't want to get kidnapped. They want electricity. They want good roads. They want at least a minimum conditions that they left behind wherever they are in the western part of the world whenever they come back to Nigeria. And I'm saying that within 3 years we can create a lot of those conditions, and it will make people just come back home in droves. And not to complicate things, Pastor, you just need to visit Ghana, by the way. And imagine if Nigeria can get to where Ghana is today in terms of electricity provision, good roads, water, some medical healthcare system. Nigerians will return home in droves. You'll be surprised. There are a lot of people who are out there who are tired, who want to come back home, who want to come do something different. But they're just too scared to do that because the conditions are not suitable for them to return back to their homeland, their motherland. And that's what I'm saying that we can do by hurriedly doing so many things that can be done.
You mentioned Ghana. Ghana has made it easier for African Americans or even foreigners, immigrants to migrate back to Ghana. So they make the visa process easier. African Americans are going back. More investors are going back there. Nigerians try to make the visa process easier, but only for certain group of investors or so. Can we address the immigration issue in Nigeria? Is it possible that Nigeria could become like Kenya or like one of those countries where you get your visa?
I have said this everywhere that I've been outside of the country, that from day one, when I become president of Nigeria, you will no longer need a visa to come into Nigeria. You just get your visa at the airport. If you are a Nigerian and we can prove that you are a Nigerian, you'll be visa free. I will extend that to other African countries. If the reason why Nigeria is asking people to obtain visa is because of border security, waste of time. There's nobody who cannot get into Nigeria if they want to get into Nigeria through the border. Our borders are so porous. But that's not the only reason. People are going to Ghana not because Ghana made visa easy to obtain, or Ethiopia also has that, Rwanda has it, and I don't know why we haven't copied that. It's also because Ghana is a fairly livable place to be. Ghana is a place where you can get electricity 24/7. They had a small issue, I won't say small, they had some electrical fiasco some 3-4 years ago. But they heavily punished the president under which it happened. He was never re-elected. Now you go to Ghana, it's fine. Ghana is safe to a large extent. Safe. I have been in Accra a lot, and you could walk around at 4 a.m. in the morning. In Nigeria, presumably in places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Warri, and some places I've been, after 7 p.m., people are advising you, please don't go out. So we completely also don't have night economy, no nightlife. And when you have nightlife, you create employment as well. You create businesses that run at night. And when I say businesses, I'm not talking about prostitution. I'm talking about real night business, because a lot of things get done at night. And you can have shifts that employ people. So instead of one shift of 8 hours, you have 3 shifts of 8 hours when you have night economy, when you have electricity that powers you through the night. So these things are not rockets. This is not rocket science, by the way. And that's why we got to keep talking about leadership. See, my problem is that, and I have to say this, it breaks my heart that anybody is even making the argument. If President Buhari doesn't understand how the world works today, right? The best he can give you is what he's giving us right now. And they have nothing else to give you. It doesn't matter how long you wait. They have nothing better to give us than they're just giving us now.
But what about the parliament, the 2 chambers? You yourself just mentioned the amount of money they are pocketing, the governors are taking home, and we already heard through your SAHARA reporters also the amount of money that these senators are taking home. What do you plan to do about that?
See, what they are taking home is illegal. The body that's in charge of allocating resources to them said that they are only entitled to 1.3 million naira per month for what they are now taking 13.5 million naira per month. So we can enforce that. I won't be afraid as president of Nigeria to go to court and enforce that. We can get a court order to say, hey, you can't get paid more than you're entitled to. And if they don't listen, you can let Nigerian people be part of the argument, be part of the engagement, and force them not to fritter away their commonwealth. I am in favor of a unique camera legislative system in Nigeria. I wish that the Senate can totally just be removed. It's sheer waste of resources. The U.S. has got a $21 trillion economy, I think, per year, and they have 320 million people as population. They only have 100 senators. Our economy is fairly $25 billion to $30 billion.
But they also have Congress, though.
They have Congress, but they have less number of congressmen than Nigeria. You should check. So they have a bicameral legislative system. They have congressmen, and they have 100 senators, and they have congressmen, but I think their congressmen are less than we have in Nigeria. And they have 320.
Yeah, we have 450.
Yeah, they have 50 states. 50 states. And some of their states, Texas and California, Texas is almost half of Nigeria.
Hello.
25. So those guys are smart enough not to have too many lawmakers, But we are here, copycats. We have senators that are taking huge chunk of our resources away. Things that could be money that could be go into education, could go into road construction, health. We give it to senators who go to the Senate to dance. Most of them, some of them, the only talent they have is, just clowning around. And it's unfair to just unnecessarily and wastefully allocate resources to these guys.
How much do you know about Nigerian Constitution? A lot of people are talking about restructuring, And is there anything in the Nigerian constitution that you think would, will hinder you from performing and from doing everything you are dreaming of right now for Nigeria?
I've read the Constitution. I won't say that I know everything in the Constitution. I cannot tell you everything that is in every section of the Constitution right now. But I know the Constitution well enough to know that if you want to do good within the existing framework of our Constitution, you can do it. The Constitution is such that the President of Nigeria is so powerful, and I hope that we also, as part of our future engagement with the Constitution or the nation state of Nigeria, look at how to whittle down the power of the President. But assuming that we continue to have a presidential power as we have now, the President can get a lot done if only he knows what he's doing, if only he's visionary. You'd be surprised how much can get done with our current Constitution. But I have my disagreement with the Constitution. I'm an activist. I know that Nigerian Constitution is a fraudulent document created by the military. But that's what we have right now, and that's what we can work with. And with restructuring, what people who are asking for restructuring are asking for would alter the Constitution fundamentally. Right?
What are your foreign policies focus? What will be your foreign policy trust? What are you looking at in the area of foreign policies?
Nigeria first. Right now, our foreign policy is an Afrocentric foreign policy. It's not even an Afrocentric foreign policy as much as we are just like the water carriers of Western nations whenever there is crisis on the continent of Africa. So we are the big brother. We have a big brother foreign policy. Anytime there's war somewhere, Nigeria goes there to be peacekeepers. If there's crisis, we send in money. We send in delegations. And generally, we are part of the nations that supports the dinosaurs on the continent of Africa, because we also have subjected ourselves to this non-interference in African countries whenever there's human rights abuse or violations of constitution of other countries. So we only occasionally actually pull our weight. But what I'm saying is that our foreign policy should be about Nigerians. I would love to be able to intervene when Nigerians are abused, killed, or are under threat like they did in South Africa. If necessary, to engage reciprocity in those instances, to stand up strongly to make sure that Nigeria is respected, to fight to get more powers within the United Nations system and framework for Nigeria. I will push strongly to have an expanded Security Council at the UN that will include Nigeria as one of the most powerful nations on the continent of Africa. But most importantly, will be to ensure that wherever Nigeria's interests are at stake, Nigeria fights for its interests first and foremost, and protects its citizens outside of the shores of Nigeria.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Nigerians are very concerned about education and medical services. What would you say about those two?
Education, we have to declare a state of emergency in the education sector. I tell you, we don't have what we can call education right now. We're just trying to get people literate, and they're getting by. Education is way more than just teaching people how to read and write, and it's very sad that that's where we are. We have to go and take our education apart and put it back together in a way that it's current and it's absolutely supportive of progress for the people of, especially for the young people. Right now, we're just getting by, and we need to fix that. And it includes fixing our curriculum. We have a curriculum that is very Eurocentric. Everything we do is about other nations. We really teach people about ourselves. We don't teach history because we're afraid of our past. We should confront our past, and history will be something we will restore back. We will, most importantly, bring technology into our education. I would really, really, really love to see kids be able to use computers as proficiently as kids in other places, kids that I know who are young and have these facilities. And they're not things that are too expensive. We have to make sure our universities are doing research again, and we have to protect students from predatory behavior of our universities and their leaders and professors. There's a lot to be done, but most importantly also I think we have to go back to having some kind of, not some kind, very qualitative free education at the primary and secondary school levels. We have to have feeding programs, healthcare system for students who are going to school, and make it a crime for people to not send their children to school. I would hate to see kids on the streets of Lagos or anywhere for that matter who are aged between 8 and 16 hawking. That should not happen. We must put every child in school, back in school, and that's why I say state of emergency has to be declared in that sector.
Beautiful. What about the medicine, healthcare?
Medical care, we have to go to the primary level. And one of the plans we've had and elaborated and enumerated is that we have to have at least 160,000 healthcare workers hired to enter into the hinterlands. Most of our parents, most of our brothers, sisters have never tested their blood pressure before. They're just there hoping that miracles will happen when they fall sick. And every sickness in Nigeria is malaria at first until it kills you. So these are things that we must get involved in solving right away. And we also have to use technology in fighting, in building healthcare. But overall, I want to create a health insurance system for Nigerians that makes it possible for people to access healthcare. That is, for everybody who is sick, they should be able to see a doctor as soon as possible. And to introduce the use of telemedicine, which is technological, in the sense that if I'm sick, I'm in Nigeria, and if I fall sick, I could call my doctor in the US and have a conversation about how I get treated. And I'll be as fine as if I went to queue up in his office to see him. So what do we do to make those things available? Considering that our tele-density is high now, over 160 million users of mobile telephones are here. We can connect them to the rest of the world somehow, where they pay little to get medical advice or medical care from anywhere they want, within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. But most importantly, again, we have to think about how we pay our doctors well enough, pay our nurses well enough, such that they don't want to run to Saudi Arabia or even Caribbean nations that are smaller than us.
What will you say about Nigerians? I think I was not having the echo. The echo just came back.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Are you sure nobody put on anything in your place? The Facebook or YouTube?
No.
Okay.
We're good. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So, why don't, a lot of Nigerians are troubled and agitated about going out of Nigeria. Some people have said, they are going to form the Biafra. Some people want to do Yoruba or Dudua. And do you think that making it possible for every Nigerian to be able to vote anywhere and be elected in any part of the country without that state of origin, code or whatever they call demand, do you think it could bring about the unity of the country? What do you think about one Nigeria?
No, unity of Nigeria can't be brought by policy. It has to be brought by justice.
Okay.
Nigeria has done so much injustice to its people. Nigeria could almost be referred to as a federal republic of injustice. Nigeria has been unjust to Shiites, they've been unjust to the Southeast. Nigeria has been unjust to students, they've been unjust to minorities, they've been unjust to oil-producing communities, they've been unjust to, all kinds of people, all kinds of groups. Now, except we start to address social justice as a central plank of our nationhood, we are not going to be able to use policy to bring cohesiveness. It's not going to happen. It's just a waste of saliva. The thing that a big national orientation agency or a guy who knew how to deceive people can bring about unity. It's not going to happen. Everybody, as it is today in Nigeria, almost 80% of Nigerians are mentally seceded from the country. Everybody's just waiting to leave. And even the leaders, the big leaders who are doing well, They don't have their kids in this country anymore. The moment their wives are pregnant, they put them on a plane. Probably you have seen, but I sure see them on a plane going to Atlanta and New York a lot, to go deliver babies because they don't want to have Nigerian passport. I think every one of them is waiting to run away. So, but if we start addressing the issues of injustices done to different people, whether socio-economic, political injustices done, we would start having people who accept that they could come together. And then most importantly, we have to integrate by way of development. We cannot integrate by verbalizing integration. We can't do it on radio. It doesn't matter how many skits you do on NTA. If there's no justice, if people are unhappy, people are hungry, people are unhealthy, you're wasting your time. And that's what the leaders don't get. They don't get it.
What are the results you want to record for your first 100 days in office?
Oh, for 100 days, I will let people judge, because sometimes that leaders are too much, they're too cocky. It's 100 days is I'm going to do this, and the 100 days they'll just be flying flags and doing parties, and people will be upset that they haven't done anything. Let me tell you, what I'm going to do is to hit the ground running from day one. So, whereas you might be expecting progress in 100 days, what if I can achieve it in 50 days? What do you think about that?
Okay, now there are some people who are concerned that there are a lot of talented guys who are also running among the youth, like yourself. People like Fela Dorotoye, I think,
yes,
and Kingsley Mangoli, Mangoli or something. Yeah, and then several other people like that people think are very, all of you have different strengths. Is there any possibility of you people combining your strength together and forces together to oust this particular government?
It would be my greatest pleasure if some of these guys could come around and let's work together. But people are running for different reasons, and I cannot determine why everybody's running. There are more than 3 of us running. Maybe you can say that the 3 people you mentioned are the front runners because we are the most frequently talked about. We are the ones. But honestly, I think it's a good thing that a lot of people are running. I think over time, people should be able to decide who exactly they want to go with among these young people. If it's Fela, we better all work with him. And if he's capable and competent and got great character, we should work for him and work with him. If it is Mogalu, let it be. If it's Sowore, I hope they will all come around. But I'll tell you something, this next fight, this next stage of the battle is not for the people-hearted. I don't know. Some of these guys, I see them, they speak so well, they're very good at what they say, but I'm trying to check on their background to see if they've been tested, We're talking about June 12th. Some of us have been fighting for 30 years, fighting the military, we've been expelled from the university, been jailed. If you don't have if you haven't resisted and fought against some of these people, and you just think it's easy to mount his rostrum and on the podium somewhere and start talking about how great Nigeria can be, these guys will run you out of town. But for someone like me, I can only vouch for myself. I know they can't run me out of town. I know that I've confronted them before, and I'll be glad to confront them again. And I'll fight to the last for the people. I'm a fighter, and I'm out here promoting myself. I'm doing it with energy and stamina. I'm doing it with character. I'm doing it with as much intellect as I have. I'm doing it convincingly, with conviction, and I'm doing it selflessly. I'm traveling all over the world. I've not seen any other candidates who's traveled as far as I have.
Yeah, and it has never been done also.
And we're doing retail politics that's never been done before. We're doing town hall meetings. We've seen some of these guys try to do town hall meetings and they crash out after 2 town hall meetings because it's not as easy as you think. So I can only speak for myself, and I hope that people will judge me based on what I have to say and my pedigree, the fact that I've done some really tough fighting in the past and never had to back down. But I wish the rest great luck.
We only have 4 minutes to go. What can our viewers do? What can people who are watching us right now, what can they do if they want to join your team or they want to support? Tell us these are mainly Nigerians in the diaspora. What can they do?
You know, we hope that they can do everything possible. This is, for me, this is one of the last chances Nigeria's got to get out of the situation that it is now. And I want to call on those who are viewing us today to join our movement. We call it the Take It Back Movement. For those of you who can afford to support us, you can support us on GoFundMe. It's gofundme.com/Sowore2019. We have bank account that we just opened, I think 2 of them in Lagos, Nigeria, where you can donate as little as you want. Because we don't have godfathers, we don't have godmothers. We are relying on just raw energy, raw will to take Nigeria back from these people. And I would tell you, Pastor, we're making a lot of progress. We're making progress like nobody. We just came back from the June 12th event at Abiola's house today. It's overwhelming how many people are like just rooting for us out there.
Very good. Good job. You have been able to do something that has never been seen in the Nigerian landscape, political landscape. Never, never. And your energy is enviable. It's parallel to none. I mean, and you are working yourself out. You are giving your, you are, I mean, no. It's commendable what you are doing. And anybody that has eyes to see has to really commend your efforts. You are doing so well. You are doing so well. You are fighting, and you are ready to give your life for Nigeria. Would that be true if I say so?
Oh, yeah. I never knew that I would live this long. My life, I've been putting my life on the line for a long time. I did it under the military, and I was almost killed in 1994. So, and I supported Abiola to the point that they could have shot me if when they were about to arrest Abiola. I've been doing this for a long time, but it is worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it to fight for 198 million people. My life cannot be more important than that. I don't care about my security. My only security is my conscience, and I know that with a good conscience, we're going to push through, and we can defeat these old guys. We can put them permanently out of business, and we can have a country that can be put in the direction of prosperity, progress, growth, development, and peace. And that is, it would be great to see a different Nigeria next year, if only all of the guys who are listening to me through you today can just make up their mind, talk to their parents, get their PVCs, convince themselves, donate whatever they can. I'm actually very shy, and afraid to ask people for money when it comes to money in Nigeria. I hate it because, it reduces the potency of your message to something that, people, oh, is it here to get money? No, I'd rather that nobody give me money, but they can give me their support. I need political capital. I need people to volunteer, to just put what's out there, to say it on their Facebook, to say it as loud and as clear as possible that we need to take Nigeria back, and for everybody to make sure that we put our feet on the ground. This is the time to do it, and this is the easiest time to do it. We can take our country back, and we can be in a different direction next year. And when next I come on your show, hopefully next year you'll be talking to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, now that would be my last question. When you become the President of Nigeria, will you also be as accessible as now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't have any heirs around me. I'm going to be the PA of Nigeria, personal assistant to Nigerians. So I'll remain open. And this, we have mutual friends who perhaps after they just got a little office, they disappeared from all of us.
Yes.
But not all of us are like that. I have been like this for a long time. Even when I was a student union president at University of Lagos, I was the most accessible they ever had. I would drive buses when there's traffic. I would do everything I can for students. I'll fight for them, defended them against cults when, cult gangs in the university, and I almost got killed. I've always been like this. So guarantee that I'll be back on your show after the election, and I'll invite you to be training, by the way.
Well, you have over 20,000 views today, both on YouTube and Facebook. 40,000
Wow.
views, yeah, both on YouTube and Facebook. 40,000 views. So, but we want to commend you for your work. You are working hard, I've never seen anything like that before, not in politics, anywhere. And, you know, God is going to reward your efforts. And I want to encourage everybody that is watching us to please go and share this video. Please share, share, share. Go and share the video with your friends, with your family. Put them in the inboxes of all your friends. If 10,000 or 20,000 of you, we put them in the inboxes of your friends, you know, and your family members, and just tell them to listen to this guy. I'm sure we might have a new Nigeria come 2019. Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead. Your last word, sir.
We deserve it, and I'll just say thank you everybody for listening to us. Particularly want to thank our friends in Europe. We just came from Italy, Germany, and Spain. I want to thank Nigerians out there all over who are supportive of a different direction for the country. With your help, we can retire the old guards and we can have a new Nigeria that works for all of us. And that is what I'm about, and that's what we're about to do. Thank you, Pastor Adelaja, for bringing me on your show. Feel free to let me know if you want me to come back anytime so that we can continue the engagement interaction.
I will surely do that. I will surely do that. You have a lot of people who believe in you, who are on my neck. They want me to do my best to give you the platform, and we are going to do our best to come back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Blessings. Bye.